So now, this guy's not black enough. Hi, my name is Ollie Schwaga. This is 10 Points to Ponder, where we like to talk about all the things that get you canceled: race, politics, Jesus, and manhood. Today, on the topic of race, I want to talk about the one-drop rule. For those of you who know your history, you know that at one time when there was a determination being made of a person's race in the United States, whether you were black or white, it was a simple determination. If you had one drop of black blood, you were a black person. Also, in that time, interestingly enough, people who were light enough to pass for white, though they had one drop of black blood, would always choose to pass as white people rather than try to live as black people. Now it seems that the roles are reversed, where if someone has a drop of black blood, then that person automatically wants to be identified as black. This is part of the problem that we have in society. We don't delineate and we don't separate. Like, my wife is half white and half black, and she doesn't discount one side or the other side. Society always makes you want to choose and make a decision based on it, and a lot of times people that are mixed, that are half black and half white, end up choosing the black side, but actually being more pro-black and gung-ho and BLM marching than black people. Because really what they're trying to work out is some sort of identity crisis. Well, anyway, I want to talk about this head coach, the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. His name is Mike McDaniel from Aurora, Colorado. Awesome, isn't it? So Mike McDaniel's father is black, and because of that, he meets the requirements of the NFL's Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule basically states that you are required to interview some black candidates whenever you have a head coaching position. Further on in the Rooney Rule, it also says that any organization that develops a black coach that ultimately gets a job gets a reward in the way of draft picks. Anyway, so this guy is very impressive. He's went from Smoky Hill High School in Aurora. He went to Yale, Ivy League, right? He has no criminal history, unlike Eric Bieniemy, whom everybody seems to use as a poster boy for the NFL does not hire black coaches. Although, look at Eric Bieniemy's Wikipedia and look at his actual criminal history, and perhaps then you would understand why this person is lucky to have the job that he even has as an offensive coordinator. In most corporations and in most businesses, just having that criminal history, especially if there's anything related to domestic violence or anything anything like that, is going to be immediately a disqualifying sort of mark. And a NFL head coach isn't just a head coach. That's like the lead manager, almost like the CEO of the team. Mike McDaniel got the job for the Miami Dolphins as coach. And why I'm doing this video is because I saw the reaction to it from Stephen A. Smith and from Shannon Sharp, and it was a very tepid reaction. These same people who were saying, we need a black coach, we need a black coach, we need a black coach. And then Mike McDaniel gets hired and they're like, is he really black? Is he really black? The reason I keep showing Mike McDaniel's picture is that he isn't what most people who uphold racial preferences would call black. He needs to be darker, according to them. Perhaps many will lament that a real black person didn't get a job. I would say to that, what is a real black person? Is it how you look? Do you behave a certain way? Do you uphold a certain set of ideals and values and beliefs? Or is it what Uncle Joe told you, which is that you vote Democrat? That's what makes you black, right? Because that's what the Democrats have tricked black people into thinking. That's why every 4 years, every election year, they're going to stoke up some sort of racial animus. They're going to use the police. They're going to use some sort of case and amplify it so that they can get the black vote, so they can get you emotional, and so they can get black people to the polls. It's common, and if you guys will look over the past 4 years and last 4 years and last 4 years, then you know that that's true. That every time there's an election, they want black votes, and so they're going to divide so that black people will vote again 90% for the Democratic Party. Look here at someone else who identifies as black and behaves in a way that is quote unquote authentically black. It would be none other than our beloved Talcum X. That's what we call him. Talcum X, or Shaun King, right? He's the guy who stoked fires of racial hatred. He's the guy who went on Twitter and started spouting off all sorts of hateful, inciting things that never got taken off of Twitter, while police precincts were burning, while he was saying that black people need to go into every church that has a statue of Jesus Christ and destroy that statue because it's a sign of white supremacy. See, he's authentically black. Talcum X. His father, however, Shaun King's father, is white. And when he revealed this, he had his mother cook up a story that she had an affair with a very light-skinned black man to uphold his black credentials. But no, it was just a white guy posing that is out here inciting black people into all sorts of violence. Why then, if being black is such an oppressed and victimized state, would someone like Shaun King try to lay claim to blackness though he looks white? It's because the opposite is actually true. I heard a great comedian, I want to say his name is Akash Singh. He's an Indian comedian. I'll put his name correctly on the bottom here. But Akash Singh had a great comedy special called Bring Back Apu. And in it, though, he says this joke that he basically says, what is one thing, white people have everything. What is one thing that a white guy cannot have? And it's very simple, an opinion. A white guy can't have an opinion because as soon as he does, everyone's going to say his privilege is showing. He's showing how much of an oppressor he is, how evil he is, right? Whereas black people can say anything, right? They get away with anything, no matter how foolish, and they have no opposition to whatever foolish statements are said because they enjoy the shield of white guilt. You know what the shield of white guilt is? I keep talking about white guilt. White guilt is not actual guilt for what white people have done. It is the terror of being labeled racist. That's what white people have to live with in this society. And that's actually what's killing our discourse right now, is that there's such a terror of being labeled racist that white people are being slow walked into the destruction of America. And that's the truth. We're being slow walked into the destruction of America because enough people won't stand up and say, stop, you've gone too far. You've mandated too much. You're taking away too much of our freedoms. You're dismantling things like the nuclear family. You're dismantling the foundations. No one's going to say anything because they're afraid to be called a white supremacist. And I would say to you, if you're within the sound of my voice, stand up and say something. You don't have to say anything about race, but I do ask that you would actually express your values. Going back to this issue, because blackness is actually a privileged position, black people shield themselves and their actions from accountability by claiming racist motivation. So anytime someone tries to hold you accountable, you call them a racist. Thus, they don't get to hold you accountable. It's the oldest trick in the book. Now, I believe the new Dolphins coach is someone who actually deserves the job. In fact, I think his work with an overachieving 49ers team was his interview. And that's why he merits the position. But watch how many people will come out and basically ignore the fact that the Dolphins came out and hired another half-black coach. Or they'll say that he's not black enough. This is why merit, not race, should be the consideration in hiring and all decisions that we make in this society for our good and for the strongest America that we can make. Those are my thoughts. What do you think? Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. My name's Ali Schwaga. This has been 10 Points to Ponder.